Joyful tribute to a country music great. We heard Carrie Underwood, Dierks Bentley, John Pardee, and Alan Jackson himself. The kind of, the run of the songs, Remember When, Chattahoochee, Drive for Daddy Jean, and Don't Rock the Jukebox. And that's the song that rounds off the country show this week. Don't forget BBC 2, BBC Radio 2 for highlights this coming Sunday at 8 o'clock. I'll be introducing highlights on the TV on BBC 4 a week tomorrow. Thanks to Ward Thomas for letting us have their exclusive this evening. And their UK tour begins on the 30th of March. Meanwhile, Trevor Nelson follows the news here on Radio 2, on the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker, and on 88 to 91 FM.
BBC News at 10 o'clock. This is Catherine Cragnell. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says his forces have liberated 41 settlements since Russia said it was pulling out of the southern city of Kherson. It's predicted Russian troops could take a week to fully leave the area, and the US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said the situation was being monitored carefully.
This is a significant military milestone for the Ukrainians if in fact it happens that Russia follows through and withdraws to the far side of the Dnieper River. Of course, we're going to watch actions and not just announcements to see what actually unfolds.
Train drivers are to hold another national strike in a long-running dispute over pay. Members of ASLEF will walk out on the 26th of November after the union said it was still waiting for a pay offer from Network Rail despite a series of fresh talks. Police have made further arrests on the M25 around London as campaigners from the group Just Stop Oil caused road closures and traffic jams for a fourth day in a row. Officers had to remove people who'd climbed onto gantries across the motorway in Surrey and Essex. Rory Kennedy from the Climate Emergency Fund says the protesters, who were unhappy about the government issuing new licences for oil and gas exploration in the North Sea, are justified in their actions.
You look at the civil rights movement, the women's rights movement, the labour movements, the fight against AIDS. These were all movements that had success in part, and I would say in large part, because people went into the streets and caused disruption.
The senior barrister for the public inquiry into the Grenfell Tower fire has severely criticised the companies and organisations involved in maintaining the building on the final day of hearings. Richard Millett KC said the investigation into the disaster in West London in 2017, which killed 72 people, exposed possibly dishonest practices. A final report is due next year. The Protestant Church in Germany is urging vicars and other staff to keep to a maximum speed of 60 miles an hour when they're driving on the motorway. The country's Autobahn famously have no upper limit, as Jenny Hill reports from Berlin.
You can drive as fast as you like on most German motorways, a freedom many here consider to be sacrosanct. But vicars hurrying between parish church services are now expected to stick to 60 miles an hour. At its annual synod, the country's Protestant church agreed to a new, albeit voluntary, speed limit for employees driving on church business. This was one of the more controversial items on the agenda. Many clerics apparently relish the call of the open road.
And England's cricketers have beaten India to reach the final of the T20 World Cup. They reached their target of 169 without losing a single wicket, with 4 overs remaining. England face Pakistan in the final on Sunday. And the weather: rain across northern Scotland and parts of Northern Ireland and southern Scotland, drier elsewhere. That's the BBC News at 3 minutes past 10.
Thank you very much, and thanks to Bob Harris.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
It's Trevor Nelson's Magnificent
Good
Seven.
evening, one and all. As it's a Thursday, we've got a themed Magnificent 7 for you. Yep, tonight is literally out of this world. For 30 minutes, we'll be dancing in outer space before we come back down to earth. Music from Atmosphere, Beyonce, and of course, Stardust. I think you get the gist.
The Magnificent 7 on BBC Radio 2.
If you've had a bit of a magnificent time all day today, get in touch. 88291 on text, WhatsApp 08000 288 291, or email me Trevor at bbc.co.uk. Cosmic Girl, Jamiroquai.